we have to start with prayers. So individually, if we can do prayer silently, then I'll make a short statement, then I'll invite the Homeland General of Gambia to make a statement. Okay, we are done. Good morning, Deputy Council Lamin who is here on behalf of the Minister of Youth and Sports and the entire Ministry of Youth and Sports. Heads and staff of satellite institutions within the ministry that are present, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am greatly honored as the Ambassador at Large for 3D GAM to serve as the chair for this important ceremony that will witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Minister of Youth and Sports and 3D GAM, part of 3D and 3D Global. I thank the entire executive members of the 3D GAM and part of 3D and 3D Global and all members of the foundation in the Gambia and abroad for their foresight in reaching a unified agreement, thus making this collaboration to establish a cooperative arrangement with the Ministry of Youth and Sports become a reality for the benefit of our dear country, the Gambia, in the areas of human rights education and drug awareness creation. Although the journey leading to this day has been challenging, because we had a series of meetings to get to this, where 3D GAM delegate headed by Lamin the Homeland General, had engaged the ministry on various occasions to reach an agreement for a memorandum of understanding, thus bringing us to this day. So the road has not been easy. It was the rigor and the burdens. We are a foundation of like-minded individuals with skill sets who challenge themselves to radiate goodness in mankind with a plain progressive agenda with no ifs, because in 3D you don't have if or buts. What we believe in is a plain progressive agenda, and then we all move to realize that together. We stand for decisions determine destiny. That means the 3D. Decisions determine destiny, with the motto of plain progressive agenda. And the scope of the operations is apolitical. 3D GAM is not a political body. It is entirely apolitical, non-religious, non-ethnic or tribal or sectional or regional based. Our object is to provide support for technological, educational, economic, and socio-cultural improvement of disadvantaged in communities. We know our society, we have so many disadvantaged within us. Even within the group, we may have some who are really disadvantaged. And that's why 3D GAM came into being, to look into their plights and see together collectively as a body how to give support to those disadvantaged in our various communities across the country, from Khartoum to Kenya. These objects bring in benefits that will radiate bringing benefits that will radiate goodness and hope in mankind. Please, you may wish to know that the program is twofold. And our Homeland General, who is not other person, but a Badibu Kerewan born Lamin Jawad, is a Badibu. And then be careful, because I know he has some bees hiding around here. take you through that. However, I would like us to applaud and thank Foundation for a Drug-Free World, who sponsored the drug awareness packages, and also Youth for Human Rights International, who graciously sponsored the human rights packages. So these are organizations that believe in 3D GAM, the work that they are doing, and they believe that if somebody is to educate one to know his human right, and also to create awareness on the abuse of drug, especially within our vulnerable youth, it is important that they give us that fundamental support. And I believe as an organization or as a foundation, we also owe them an obligation to thank them for what they have done, because we do not have the necessary capacity or finance to get us all those books into the Gambia. So I would like us to applaud them just for. I do not want to take you long because I know I serve in the Sports Council. Mr. Jawala would say, Mr. That would like marathon speak, but I would now call on not to waste time, especially Deputy Pharmacy. I know he has a busy schedule, but nonetheless, he's a very important one. I would also like to welcome Mr. D. Ejao. We all know Mr. D. Ejao is a household name in the Gambia. These are the pillars in our media who have gone through a series of media trainings until he become a professional, and he in turn also is guiding the young ones to live up to the ethics of pure journalism. We welcome him on board. He also felt it's important that he joined us here. I also would like to mention Lamin, Deputy Homeland General Sankum Damfa. He's also in the mix here. We have Lamin Fati, he's the regional coordinator for URR from Upper River region. Lamin, I taught him in school. I was a primary school teacher. And in those days, he was one of my smart pupils. Welcome, Lamin. Also have Adam Acham, regional coordinator for Lower River region. We have Vicente Gomez. We know him. Wherever he is, he's very visible. And he is the one who dressed me like this. So. He's a PRO and International Relations Director or Officer. And we have Ibrahim Ajame, who is the Deputy Media General. He follows all our events, and it makes sure he doesn't miss even an item. Because whatever we do, it is transparently shared with the rest of the team, both in the Gambia and abroad. We have Fatou Sane for Women and Kids Affairs. Fatou, luckily, is my niece. It's a daughter to my sister, to my born sister. She's also part of this program. We also have Fode Danjo, coordinator for South Bank. Bio, coordinator for South Bank. So precisely, the whole country is duly represented because Homeland covers all. When you have these regional directors all present here, I think this signing ceremony is definitely well represented. I thank you all, and I now welcome Lamin Esjara, but before that, I also welcome to acknowledge the presence of the media house present. We have Lamin as a media for 3D GAM. We have Mamos TV. We have their technical director, Mr. Assan, Gambian Ghanaian. And we also have King TV, who will join us. The Standard newspaper, the Point newspaper, they are all present. The joint of our journalism or the media is here, so we are safe. Lamin, I now hand over the baton to you.
Thank you very much, the ambassador at large, Trinidad and Trinidad Global. Today you don't behave like a Kiang and Global. virtue of the responsibility. But it's only for the Munkas who can do that for us. So we want to put them. On a more serious note, I want to seize this opportunity to say a very big morning, a very good morning to our important
If I may interrupt, I forgot Mr. Mendy, PIA, NYSS, and Mr. Jawala are present. In fact, they are our Jati, they host us, so we thank them very much. They are present here today, guiding or as protocols for the Deputy Palm Sec. Is highly welcome.
Thank you once again. Like I said, I want to extend a very big and big warning to the Deputy President here to start with our Honorable Guest Speaker. Njie as a family is very proud of the Ejao. Those who were with us from inception. It was our first event in this country, and we were launching 3D Gam in the Gambia. He was our guest speaker. And this is one of our third major events in here again, which indicates that he is part of us. He's a mentor, a father, a director. You know, he has a lot of wisdom that we rely on. This is why we cannot go without him. So we welcome you, and we respect you for who you are. On behalf of the 3D Gam National Cabinet, we have a cabinet, we don't have an executive. We also want to use the same opportunity to extend our greetings to the representative of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, who is my own brother, Lamin. We welcome you. We welcome part of us, but by virtue of his responsibility in the sector that we are signing the one today, with Mr. Mendy, who is a key member of our executive, and we must thank him for coordinating this activity. I did very little in this. He headed the activity, the coordination of the activity to where we are today. Without his staff, we would not have been here today. So we welcome you and thank you for those efforts. We extend the same greetings to the other civilized institutions represented here at the National Sports Council, the Deputy Executive Director, Mr. Jawala. We welcome you. I welcome the members, the media, and everybody present here. I welcome you all. Today is yet another very important day in the life of the Eagle family. You know, we have said this, the eye of the eagle is sharp, and we want to demonstrate this in all what we are doing. So as a result, all our programs and activities are geared towards humanity. Today marks the signing ceremony of a memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Youth and 3D Gam and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. On behalf of the penniless chambers, 3D Gam do not have money, as people may think, but we have our minds, our brains, our souls that we give up to humanity. So this is why we consider ourselves as penniless chambers, like those living in this. We all know a church mouse. But with all that, you know, we owe humanity something that we can do without a penny. This is why we are here today. 3D Gam and 3D Global. As we speak today, by tomorrow, inshallah, we will be 3 years, 3 months old. This organization was established on the 29th of September 2019. And tomorrow will be 29th of December, and will be 3 years, 3 months. Within this short period of time, 3D as a family were able to engage in a series of activities that have something to do with humanity. To inform our esteemed members, our readers, or our readership, and followers on the above subject. The objective of the Memorandum of Understanding is to target the issues identified below to enable a more collaborative engagement and recognition between the 3D GAM and Youth and Sports Ministry so far as this Memorandum of Understanding helps to create. Based on the common desire to develop youth empowerment and sports through increased access, promotion of youth activities, and youth and sports activities, 3D GAM, part of 3D and 3D Global, have agreed to establish a cooperative arrangement for the mutual benefit of our country in the areas of human rights and drug awareness. As we may all know, the Ministry of Youth and Sports have the core of this country. A mentor once defined a youth in my presence, said, a youth is like a bull. No part of it is useless. It depends on how you harness it. So this is what we at 3D GAM have in our mind, and want to capitalize on that definition to make the best use of the presence of the youth in this country through the Ministry of Youth and Sports. The MOU, and the MOU, like the Ambassador at large said, is in twofold. One, through Youth for Human Rights International, who sponsored the Human Rights Package, is part of our continuous efforts that started with schools. We were able to sign an MOU with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. And we are now working with over 130 schools across the country, where we have established human rights clubs through our human rights project. And at a point in time, we were able to organize a competition through that, and today the winners of those competitions would benefit. This is why I said the human rights package was sponsored through the human rights package. It's part of our efforts that started with schools, like I said, culminating in MOU signing with Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education in 2019. Totaling now to over 140 schools. Now broadening with this MOU with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, set to increase its human rights education. Initiatives in the Gambia as part of efforts to accelerate broader understanding among young people, especially on issues related to good citizenship, respect for the rule of law, and participatory democracy. On another part, another important element of the MOU is the distribution of over 1,020 human rights and 1,000 drug awareness educator kits to the 5 satellite departments or institutions of the Ministry of Basic and Ministry of Youth and Sports. The National Youth Service Scheme, President's International Award Scheme, National Youth Council, National Sports Council would be institutions that would benefit from a package from the 3D GAP, from both the human rights and the drug awareness campaign. The drug awareness educator is sponsored by Foundation for a Drug-Free World and includes resource materials in the form of DVDs and booklets. It would be beneficial to both youth and adults in raising high-level awareness on the truth about different types and categories of drugs and their negative impact. Not only the users or addicts, but for the society in general. Drug abuse related issues would be highlighted by these materials and generate greater understanding of the truth about harmful drugs. About 3D or about 3D. We are a foundation of like-minded individuals who want to radiate goodness in mankind with a plain progressive agenda, with no ifs, no buts. 3D stands for decision determines destiny. We all know, and like I said in one of our events, Gambia just decided that is determining where we are going today. So in life, whatever decision you take will determine what will happen tomorrow. So at 3D, we believe in proper decision taking for a better livelihood tomorrow. So this is why we call ourselves 3D, Decision Determines Destiny. And our motto is plain progressive agenda. Like our ambassador had like alluded to, all what we do is on the platform. The scope of our operations is a political, it is a political, non-religious, non-ethnic or tribal, or section-based. Summarily, 3D GAM has 4 basic objectives. When you look at the far right corner of this hall, our objectives are clearly indicated. These include technological, educational, economic and socio-cultural improvement of disadvantage in our communities. These objectives bring in benefits that will radiate goodness and hope in mankind, which are not limited to those that would sign up to the plain progressive agenda. The simple knowledge that you are making little difference to the lives of the people, which by faith would enable them to make an informed decision that will determine their destiny, is the firm belief of 3Ders, people of the 3D. This kindness, we hope, will elicit goodness in communities of mankind. In a nutshell, this is who we are. This ceremony also witnesses the 6 winners in this order. Nusrat Senior Secondary School in Bundu, Serekunda Model Senior Secondary School in Congo, Kutumbala, Marsembe Lower Basic School in Kiang, Marsembe, Njabakunda Upper and Senior Secondary School in Badibu, Njabakunda, Kindadof Botrop Senior Secondary School in Kembuje, Brikama, and Kerpate Senior Secondary School in Badibu, Kerpate. From 3D Human Rights Project held across the country, who would be awarded their individual prizes this morning, 28 December 2020. We have tables, certificates, a token prize for each, and the transportation cost for the tables to their venues or respective destinations. Honorable Guest Speaker, the Permanent Secretary, Media, 3D Homeland Cabinet, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this singular honor to thank you all for coming, and we appreciate it. And on that note, on behalf of 3D GAM in the homeland Gambia, we thank you all and we welcome you to this very important occasion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lamin, Homeland General for 3D GAM. Statement is well said. And as 3D GAM, our motto, Clean Progressive Agenda. As you rightly said, in whatever we do, whatever decisions we make, determine what we want to do towards. So as 3D GAM, this is what we do. And we would like to challenge all others to do the same. Because in life, when you take decisions that are not right, that are not proper, the effects of that are always detrimental. But when you come together and make good decisions, those decisions, you apply them, and then it will give you a better tomorrow. So on that note, I thank you for the statement, and I now welcome the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Lamin A. Kamara, Deputy PAMSEC, or Deputy PAMSEC, Minister of Youth and Sports, to make a statement. Well, he's a camera from that guy, just like, but I know he's from Kiang, so I will not say much about that. So we are brothers.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Dabu. Good morning, Mr. Emmanuel May, Executive Director, National Youth Service Scheme, Mr. Lamin Njie, Homeland General, Honorable Badjan, Mr. Mamos, Deputy Director of National Sports Fund, and Mr. Dabu on 3D. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, the press. It is my singular honor and privilege to deputize for my Honorable Minister, who would love to be here in person to grace this important signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Minister of Youth and Sport and 3D GAM and 3D Global. This event is significant because the government of the Gambia, through the Minister of Youth and Sport, has made youth and sport development as a national priority. The key goals of this ministry, as anchored on the national youth policy, is to empower young people to be able to harness their potentials for self-fulfillment and responsible citizenship. Hence, I am personally delighted and wish to express my ministry's profound gratitude and sincere appreciation with the partnership of 3D GAM and 3D Global for this magnificent donation to enhance the capacity of this ministry and by extension to the young people. This type of partnership directly supports the National Development Plan of the Government of the Gambia and in general, my ministry policy goals to empower the youth of the new Gambia. The ministry would like to thank you most sincerely for this timely donation, which will go a long way to address the capacity gap of our line institutions. Because of your generosity of donating these important items, it will help to achieve our objective in improving the lives of young people across the country. We are all very pleased and honored to have you as our partner. To conclude, it is our hope that as a ministry, we will continue to work with you and give hope to our youth to participate meaningfully to the socio-economic development of this country. I would like to give you full assurances that the Ministry of Youth and Sport will continue to collaborate with you in all ways possible to ensure that our dreams and aspirations are realized in the new Gambia. Lastly, on behalf of our Honorable Minister, management and the entire staff of the Ministry of Youth and Sport, for once again thank you immensely for this wonderful donation. We are all proud of 3D GAM and 3D Global. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, the Deputy Farm Secretary, Mr. Lamin for those wonderful statements. It is important as a ministry. That's why I said this collaboration is unique. Unique in a sense, the Ministry of Youth and Sports. If you look at the population of the Gambia, we say it's represented by 67%. Of our population is represented by the youth. So us as 3D GAM, part of 3D and 3D Global, partnering with you for youth empowerment, I think is very, very vital. Vital in the sense that materials that were donated to us by the sponsors would go a long way in helping to alleviate the basic problems that our youths are faced with, especially in the area of drugs. The youths today, because most of them are out of frustration or lack of jobs, you see them loitering in the streets, doing nothing but only engaging on illicit consumption of illicit drugs, alcohol, and all that stuff. So partnering with 3D, making use of these materials, would create an awareness that will help them to move away from the negative lifestyle they have adopted to a better lifestyle that will help develop them. And when they are developed, the nation develops. So they become very active in society, from the home to the society and the country and life. Yes, our collaboration is unique, and it's a challenge for all of us. We will give our support as when we have. We have no money, as he fairly said, we are penniless. But with our collaboration with other partners across the globe, we believe that our partnership will definitely yield positive results. And that's why all our administrative heads or administrators are here to witness the occasion, because their role in the communities is very, very vital. They're doing a lot of sensitization, awareness creation, especially amongst the youth folk, to make them desist from those illicit trade that they are doing or activities. So I thank you very much. And I hope the minister, you are new in this portfolio, as you said, and also the minister, it's a challenge for both of us to stand together and to help develop our youth, to move away from the negative aspect of life to a meaningful aspect of life that will develop our homes, our society, and the Gambia. This is what we want. And the 3D GAM, part of 3D and 3D Global are here for that with our partners. This MOU signing is definitely going to create a lot of improvement on your administration, because you are dealing with youths. When youths are lazy and doing nothing, we point fingers to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. You have your satellite department, the National Sports Council, that are responsible for sports. They would like to see athletes that are participating in sports that are not taking drugs or alcohol. Because if you go to international events, you are being tested whether you are taking drugs that they are not allowed for athletes to use. So having these books and educating athletes would also help a lot, because an awareness would have been created before some of them would even participate in some of these sporting events that they're going to do. The youth councils that are dealing with the youths across the country, helping them to develop, NENEH, helping youths to own enterprises. The President Award, International Award, that would give awards to deserving youths in the country, educate them, and then also award them deservedly. Mr. Mendes is here, and I know he's doing a tremendous job. So these are all areas that we can all stand together, shoulder to shoulder, and help our youth develop, and then therefore the country will definitely develop. So on that note, we now doing the most important thing. Before we bring in our guests of honor, we will be allowed to make a statement. We first have the signing of the memorandum of understanding that we are all here for or awaiting to be signed by the Homeland General and the Deputy Farm Secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. So, Mr. Lamin, I welcome you now. The floor is yours.
press, you are now witnessing the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding. I welcome Mr. Bai, Director of Planning and Program, for Mr. Musambai just arrived. He is the Director of Planning and Program for Ministry of Youth and Sport. I worked with him for 2 years. Another hard-working individual. He has all the institutional memory of the Ministry of Youth and Sport. So his presence here is also important because he's somebody that was tasked this responsibility to engage us leading to this signing today. So his presence here to be with Mr. Kamara and Mendy and Jawala is very, very important. So I welcome you here. Thank you very much. Stand up on the stage. All right. Let's applaud. Well, thank you very much. This has been the much awaited signing that 3D Dam have been awaiting for. It took us a while before we get to this, and thank God who made all this possible. And we thank ourselves, our regional administrators who are present. This would not have been achieved without their contribution, because at PD, no decision is passed without the participation of all. So we are participatory and then we engage each other. Our platform is so rich that everybody has to contribute, because if you are not on there for a while, a reminder is sent so that you can also be involved. Now we move ahead. Statement by the guest of honor, Honorable D.A. Jao. I invite him to make his statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I really feel quite elated to be guest of honor for this auspicious occasion. I have been associated with 3D Gam since its inception more than 2 years ago, and I've always been quite impressed by their dedication to helping uplift the living conditions of the vulnerable members of the society, among many other objectives. I have known the initiator and chairman of the group, Amadou Baram, since when he was in school. And I remember him once expressing interest of practicing journalism. I can still remember when he used to come to the Daily Observer while I was in his editor there. And sometimes I would coach him in writing stories. Even at that very young age, Amadou had always exhibited his love for humanity and inclination to help others. It is therefore not a surprise to see him being involved in such a philanthropic work. I'm also happy to see some of the visible faces in 3D Gam, such as Mr. Vicente, Mr. Lamin and Bori Dabo, among others. The noble objective of 3D Gam has been manifested in several forms, which of course include provision of support to schools and other institutions, as well as collaborative efforts aimed at improving the quality of life of vulnerable communities in this country. One such initiative in the schools is the Human Rights Project, which is helping raise awareness of the sanctity of respect for human rights among the young people of this country. Therefore, the MOU signed this morning with the Ministry of Youth and Sports is yet another manifestation of 3D Gam's involvement in the empowerment of the youth. This comes on the heels of the similar MOU earlier on signed with the Ministry of basic and secondary education. While it is quite commendable for the involvement of various organizations and groups in the empowerment of the youth, but it is also extremely important to coordinate such activities rather than each one doing their own thing. Therefore, let us hope that the MOU will go a long way in helping to realize such collaborative efforts. I also wish to take this opportunity to congratulate the various schools receiving awards today for their participation in the human rights project, as well as those institutions being presented with human rights and drug awareness sets. Finally, I wish to encourage Mandinka to continue the wonderful work that they are doing in this country and abroad, and to thank each and every one of you for attending this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Njie, for a wonderful statement. We appreciate and thank you for your coming. You have been with us for a long time, and still in other aspects, that is also a family to PDGAM. You know, we are also, not to say, but we are highly engaged. So your coming here is fundamental and well appreciated by PDGAM. We thank you very much. And may you live long to serve the Gambia and the media. We have presentation of certificate winners of the Human Rights Prizes. But before that, he mentioned like Amadou Marong. Amadou Marong, as I said, at 3D, we consult, we make decisions based on consultations. No one's idea is final. Amadou, as a young Gambian and as a professor in one of the leading universities in the UK, earlier on formed an organization called BASU. That's a Sainabou society in the UK. And in those formative years, he was able to galvanize the society. But as human nature, one could come up with something and then you bring others on board. But the ideas may not be the same, or our mission or our objectives would not be the same. And along the line, he felt that the reason why he decided with other good guys to form BASU did not live up to the expectation, because he is somebody who did not want to see himself or associate himself with failure. Because he believed that he has a responsibility to serve humanity and to serve his community. That's the reason they formed BASU, because it was meant to help those bodybuilders in the diaspora and in the Gambia to live up to their expectations, either educationally or technologically, whatever you may call it. And then he decided, let it go. He's the founder, but he believes that if there is too much undermining and frustration and he's not living up to that objective, he therefore decided that he let BASU be BASU, and then he quitted. And that gave birth to this. And when this was being formed, the idea did not come from only himself. He engaged a lot of people around him, and even outside, in the UK, in the Gambia, and even in other parts of Europe, to come up with a design that will represent the aspirations or the objectives that he has or the group has. A lot of images or logos were sent, but the group and those that were privy to it all came to one decision, and that gave birth to the ego, because we believe that yes, there are so many egos, but the type that we have chosen, as you can see there on the stand, is so unique that we all believe that is what we can use for 3D Gambia. And yes, it was not only him, but the decision was a collective decision, and that gave birth to 3D Gambia.
And that's why the foundation is moving. Because not only his ideas stand tall, but even the smallest person amongst us, down from this remotest part of the Gambia, who is part of 3D GAM, is counted. And that's why we are here today. Just a short story about him. He's somebody that, as DJ said, a Gambian, brought up in Balibo and in Bundung, attended Muslim high school, and now lives in the United Kingdom. But they believe that they have to give back to society in whatever form necessary, and that brought about this. And we in the Gambia here, as 3D GAM, supported every move and every activity that is collectively agreed. So briefly, that is about Amadou. I know, unfortunately, he's also a Mandinka. I wish he was a Kiang. Anyway, we'll have a presentation of certificate for human rights to schools that participated in the various activities. We have Nusrat High School. The prizes we have, the first prize we have 10 tables with the token prize and the certificate. Lamin, you have the list for those presenting. Yes. How are you? That's we'll call upon the Deputy Homeland General, Mr. Sainabou, to present the prize for Mr. High School as the winner for the human rights in their 10 tables. A small cast there, and it's going to be received by Mr. Kemokai. And I welcome Mr. Kemokai. Mr. Kemokai, we all know, like Njie is also a pillar at Nusrat High School. And Nusrat is where Mr. Dao also graduated in 1985. So Nusrat is also my alma mater. Mr. Kemokai is one of the senior administrators of the school and also part of 3D GAM. And he also lectured Mr. Marong when he was at Nusrat High School. So his presence here is very, very important. Not only representing Nusrat, but also 3D and be a mentor to Marong. No wonder Amadou is doing well where he is, because he's well educated and he deserves all that he's doing. In fact, he has moved from London School of Business and Finance to a better school, because those people deserve, they really pull him out from where he was to a higher university. So that's where he's not only there lecturing, but also serving as an examiner, just like yourself. Mr. Homeland, Deputy Homeland General, you can face this. Okay. The tables that are presented have been bought by 3D GAM, and they will be transported to their various schools. The cost will be, the transportation cost will be provided to them. Sample.
Those are the sample.
Sample of the table. Yeah, okay. Those are the sample of the tables. We bought them from the UK and then brought them here. So the second is Model Senior Secondary School. They will have 8 tables. Model Senior Secondary School. I will ask the Director for Planning and Programs who will just join his colleague as a respect, well-fitting, to give the prize to Model Senior Secondary School. They are beneficiaries of the 8 tables, the sample of which is there. Mr. Njie will present to Thank you. Good luck. Next is Kiang Law Basic School Assan. They'll have 6 tables. Kiang come on. Yes. I know other administrators will do so, but then I will now call Kiang, the Deputy Farm Sec. He's from Kiang to present, so no one will say I'm biased. I'm not biased. Masembe will have 6 tables. Small cast there. It's good that Kiang comes first, then followed by a school from Fadibu. So you have Njabakunda Upper and Senior Secondary. So you see, I said, whenever there is a competition, Kiang comes first. I will call Jao himself to do that. Sorry. I would have to apologize to my colleagues at the training camp. At least we do it this way. At least it's our program. No, I'm not giving it to you. No. It's somebody. Let's go. Fifth prize for Kindergarten Drop Senior Secondary. I call on Mr. Mehdi. Kindergarten, are you here? First. They also have 6 tables. The 6th, we have Care Party Senior Secondary. I call on my colleague, ML Jawla, to present to Care Party Senior Secondary. Care Party?
Kirapat.
Then there, and someone is on their behalf. Lamin. Yeah, thank you very much. I thank all the participating schools that have participated in the competition. During the competition, I think the number was around 118 or 128, and it has now moved to 140. So amongst those schools that participated, these are the deserving schools that are awarded because of their participation and the performance that they have exhibited during the competition. So once again, I thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. I know more is to come. Hopefully, we'll be more engaging and more participatory to do more competition, not only on human rights, but also on drug education awareness. So I thank you very much. Let's applaud for ourselves. I did now, before the vote of thanks, before the vote of thanks, we would also like to provide materials to the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the satellite, all the satellite departments on the network. Okay, before we present the books, Fabisane. Okay, it's okay. Lamin Fati, one of the this is, we have a gentleman, very creative, very innovative, very active, versatile, and somebody who is always on the move. He does not like to be seen as being lazy, but wherever he is, he would like to be signing. So, always in traditional colors, especially in our Gambian colors. He's also our international relations officer, Mr. Vicente. Wherever you see Vicente, Mr. Gomez, I know he's an educator, but somebody who is very, very influential. He's in all disciplines.
available in the Gambia. Wherever in sports, name it, in agriculture, or it's a typical farmer. From here, he's always in the village where he does his farming. But not only that, he's a person who also tries to bring the youth around him, you know, to nurture them, to have a good living and a good behavioral pattern that he can put into them to develop. Because he has formed, I've seen that he has come up with girls, put them together on a platform of education where they're not only teaching them, but also guiding them to be successful in their sporting activities. So it's not only for men, but he's revived Brikama or West Coast region, where they call it West Coast region. What's the name again? He said they have seats. Central 2, because Central 2 in the previous years, you have the biggest team or the most famous team then which he participated or played was Sainabou. So most of those guys within that team, he was able to bring them all together. So and then they formed Central 2. And Central 2 took Gambia by storm when before the pandemic hit, the zonal organized by the EFF. We have all seen how Central 2 perform. And then each time they come to the stadium, not only football they do, but you see the attraction they bring, you know, is so lively. But they don't make it so lively that whenever they are playing, you always want to come around because there are so many fanfare, beating of the drums, you know, and so many cultural activities that they bring into our sport. So recently, I felt it's also important that he present to Mr. D.A. Jao to decorate him in the Gambian color. And Mr. Deputy Palm Tech, you come and do that. And you will have to put the cap, you are the most senior. So you'll have to place the cap on his head and then decorate it. That's courtesy from Mr. President.
Chianco.
But yeah, no, have fun.
Yeah, no one is Chianco.
You will have to present that. Good. Yeah, do Malaysia. Lovely.
Thank you very much, Cynthia.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I just want to show this out. We don't want to take much of your time. We would have asked our regional administrators to do the presentation, but however, just to save time, the packages that you've seen here are for the satellite mission under the Ministry of Youth and Sports. This is the Youth for Human Rights. This is the guide to the content, the educator's guide. Like if you are a teacher and then you lecturing or teaching your students about human rights, this is what the teacher uses. And then you have, they also have a CD. And then all the schools that once received from me, I think they benefited from that. So you have a CD that also is a guide, very important to for the children to learn about human rights, to know their human rights in the early age, so that when they grow old, you need not to tell them because they've already learned in school, you see, and in their various societies and communities. We also have booklets on drugs. This also, the truth about drugs. It teaches the children or ourselves about drugs and all the dangers that are associated with drugs. We also have what we call, what are human rights? So this, when you go through, it will tell you exactly what human rights and then it helps us to know them and then put them into practice. We have other books here. Let's talk about drugs. Let's talk about drugs. These are very, very important. Mr. Gomez has gone through it, and he's really, as an educator, he really, really appreciated this because the content are so rich and so educative that the moment you open it and going through it, you really want to stay reading to know more about drugs. All the types of drugs, that's the CD for it, called it the truth about drugs. So when you have this, you put it in your CD player, it will tell you all about drugs. And then if you go to the manual or the teacher's guide, it will also tell you. Then the kids have the books that will be given to them for them to learn at home or at their free time they can read. So this is all about, and the sponsors, as I said earlier, so Homeland General, somebody has to present that to Mr. Gomez on behalf of the officer and institutions.
I want to delegate that for reasons. I'm delegating that responsibility to Honorable PRO and International Relations Officer for Kiang to officially hand over this educative materials to the Ministry of Basic and to the Ministry of Youth and Sports for its satellite. Mr. Mai, this is just the beginning of the journey. But we are very cognizant of the fact that the Ministry of Youth and Sports are very key in terms of this educative materials. So from now on, we will be dealing with the structures from the national to the regional levels in order to embark on sensitization activities based on this information. We have chosen our PRO and International Relations by virtue of its commitment, its dedication towards ensuring that all what we are working for humanity is achieved. He's one of those cabinet members who is always on top of information and never found one thing. He has surprised me today when he told me, Chairman, I have something to present on behalf of the family to our guest speaker. And that was a surprise for me. So we will therefore honor him to do this honor.
Much obliged, my chairman. And you've handed me over to my brother. Mr. Mbai and I met as far back as 1997. The first plane I boarded was with him. We were actually going to represent the youth of the Gambia. So today he is my director, my boss, and I'm opportune to hand over this material to him on behalf of all satellite institutions. The Ministry of Youth and Sport is very close to my heart. It's by default not designed that I came with that little one because I'm learning at the moment. And secondly, it's good she is here because we want her future to be better than us. We want her future to be a drug-free future. We want her future to be a future of equipped, engaged, and empowered young people. So my brother, my boss, you have a challenge because this one, she's just a year old, and I'm not sure she would really reach her youthful age and still be grappling with the same problems that my brother here, Lamin, grappled with as a young person, that I grappled with as a young person, that my younger brother and sister grappled with as a young person. These material given to you by 3D represent the 3 E's. and I want all of us to listen. 3D is giving this to you, representing 3 E's. And the 3 E's are, you engage the young people, engage them. You empower the young people, and after empowering them, you equip them. If you empower somebody without equipment, you don't expect them to believe. So today, 3D has engaged all stakeholders in the youth and sports department. All of us here are actually in one way or the other working for young people. So we are engaging you as partners. My brother Jaula, you know what I'm talking about, and my brother Emmanuel. If you represent 60% of this population and the country is not moving forward, we should hold you responsible. Because you are the ones who are not moving forward. And if we really want to change that trajectory, to reverse it, we need to reverse our modus operandi. I was in the Ministry of Youth and Sports. I'm still in the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And they know, when I talk to them, they know where I am talking from. So things should not be the same again. With these materials, we cannot definitely claim to be ignorant of what is happening. Everything is here. Everything is here. So engage the young people, empower them not only by advocacy but action, and make sure you equip them. Let them get the tools to go and deliver. So, my brother, I don't like holding my elder brothers to task, but I will hold you responsible if things don't go right and going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
God bless.
Details. Thank you very much. The Homeland General, the Deputy Homeland General, members of 3D, GAM, our distinguished guest speaker, Honorable D.A. Jao, colleagues from the Ministry of Youth and Sports, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm indeed honored to receive these materials on behalf of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Indeed, no doubt, 3D is helping the ministry in a big way in achieving its outcomes as indicated in NDP. The Ministry of Youth and Sports is responsible for the constituency that has the biggest demographic weight. And we have 6 satellite institutions under the ministry that has various structures all over the country at all levels, the village level. And I think these materials handed over today will help a great deal in actually facilitating, like you already mentioned, my brother, 3 E's: our engagement, our empowerment, and our equipment to the youth community of this great country. I came late because of the same 3 E's that he mentioned. I was engaged in one of them.
Oh, great.
This morning. After training our young people, equipping them with skills, technical skills, now they are brought together to transform those skills into enterprises. And again, it's the same government through the Ministry of Youth and Sport who is supporting them with capital to start up their own enterprises. I think this ceremony today, it's a great source of encouragement for us at the ministry. And also help us continue to strengthen our partnership and network engagement. So we want to thank you very much. And be rest assured that through our satellite institutions, the young people of this great country will be engaged and to empower them and equip them with the necessary knowledge, information, and the materials to make sure that like he said, this symbol here today means so much to all of us, particularly to us at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. So we want to thank you very much. So once again, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mbai. Thank you very much for the statement. Thank you very much for those wonderful words. As I said, Mr. Gomez will do the vote of thanks. Now that almost everything is done, but before going to him, I would like to once again thank the foundation for a drug-free world, for being the sponsors of the drug awareness package that we have handed over to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and also Youth for Human Rights International, who also sponsor the human rights packages. These two institutions definitely help a lot, and I'm quite sure the materials that are given today and that will be given to the schools will go a long way in helping to educate our young ones and even the adults. So on behalf of 3D GAM, before he comes in, we still have to thank them and applaud Foundation for a Free World and the Youth for Human Rights International. Let's applaud for them. I now call upon our International Relations Officer, no other person than General Vicente Gomez, to do the vote of thanks on behalf of 3D, part of 3D and 3D Global.
Thank you very much, our own ambassador. There is only one general, and that is the Homeland General.
It's been approved.
Okay. I thought Mr. Badjan was going to say something before I start thanking everybody. Otherwise, if I thank people and he says something,
I think that is big. Once again, Mr. Badjan, yes. The media, we are really proud of what you are doing, so we thank you for still covering the event.
Okay, thank you very much. As I said at the beginning, really honored to be guest of honor for this. And I'm really grateful to everybody. As I said, I've been very much associated with 3D GAM, and I've been following their progress from the very inception. And I've always been interested in what it will be, what will be Gambia and abroad. So I wish to assure you that every time I'm invited to occasions like this, organized by 3D GAM, I will definitely do everything to get my means as a president. I thank you very much. And I also wish to take this opportunity to thank my brother, Vicente Gomez. Vicente has known me for a very, very long time. And I know how active he has been in such situations. As it is indicated here, he's only that, doing everything he could to empower the youth of this country. I have been following him in the internet and everywhere else. I know how committed he is and how also nationalistic he is. As you see, he's always putting on these colorful kind of things, but he picked, this, the level of his nationalism and love for the country. So thank you very much, brother Vicente, and thank you everybody else for this, doing this wonderful work. And I wish to encourage you to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jao, for the statement. Just as he rightly said before I bring Mr. Gomez, I also briefly worked as chairman of the Sports Council, and I know what it takes to be one. It's never an easy job, but as the rightly challenged, I also add my voice to that to challenge the Minister of Youth and Sports. We know you are doing a great job, but you still have a lot to do and a lot to achieve. And I believe collectively we will get there. But what is important, as a 3D, let our decisions come together. With informed decisions, we'll be able to get to our destiny. So I know you can do it. As a new person though at the ministry, as you said, you have in your midst people that have been serving this ministry in their various capacities excellently. You have Mr. Mendi, you have Jawla,
with the able support of Mr. Mbai. From Mr. Mbai, I know when you say Ministry of Sports, I can say he's an institution. He's a policy maker, and he does a lot together with his people. And I believe that the youth will rely on you. If the Gambia fails, it is you people who fail. When I was there, this is what I always tell Jawara. I challenge you to live up to the expectation. You know, we are there for the youth, and therefore the youth rely on the Minister of Youth and Sports to deliver to them. So if we do not deliver, our youth will continue to become lackadaisical, will become lazy, will be engaged in illicit drugs. Even giving them this would not help. So as he said, engage them, empower them, and give them the equipment, give them the materials for them to deliver. It is only through that the ministry will stand tall among all the ministries in the country, because you would have done something that no ministry has ever done. And it's a challenge for you, and I will continue to challenge you.
This small boy with hundreds of heads of cattle as a ministry.
Yeah. Exactly. So
it's not about size, it's
he's the deputy answer, so most of the work is him. So he's to be able to pull the team together. You see, when we are together, we'll be able to achieve a lot. You know, but when we decide to be in our corners, and then these ones are not the same, we will never achieve. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our very own ambassador, who today actually moderated this program. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sports, representing the ministry here. Mr. Kamara, you're welcome. Our very own Doyen for the world fields, especially in the media, Honorable D.A. Jao. There's a story I would want to tell him, but maybe this is not the ground. His brother was my father's own classmate. They were best of friends. They were in Flabanta and never heard or spoken to each other in over 40 years. And God, as God would have it, I never knew him, but through the son who was my classmate, I got to meet him, and that was how he established contact with my own father. So, Mr. Jao, thank you very much for being in our midst. And in 1996, he was actually the observer. He trained a crop of journalists. I was always behind the scenes. Through the Young Journalists Association, Bankole Thompson, Maria Makan, we were actually in that group, but I've always been at the background. All right, so we must appreciate you and thank you for everything, Mr. Jao. We will also want to thank my own brother here, as I said, Mr. Mbai, the ministry. I think that here he would be the longest serving member of the ministry, if not the whole ministry, as far as I know. Because when I was traveling with him in '97, representing the Gambia, he was at the National Youth Service Scheme. And he rose through the ranks to become the executive director. And right now is at the ministry planning. So, Mr. Mbai, thank you very much for your commitment and dedication to youth work. Mr. Mendy Emmanuel is a brother, and now he is actually in his own shoes at the National Youth Service Scheme. So, Mr. Mendy, thank you very much. For my brother, I call him Motion, and he knows why. Jaula, we appreciate you being around. Thank you very much. Homeland General, we cannot thank you enough. And of course, our ambassador at large. And all our regional coordinators who came all the way from Upper River Region, Central River Region, North Bank Region, Lower River Region, right? And of course, the KM and West Coast Region. We really appreciate all of you. I will leave Mr. Jawara, our Homeland General, to actually present you to the audience so that they know who is who. When they want to engage you at the regional levels, they don't have to come to me. They should be able to know who to contact for URR, for LRR, for CRR, and even the ministry. You have contact points at those areas. Mr. Kemokai, I'll have to mention it for Amadou. Amadou, please, camera, focus on him. Mr. Kemokai, sorry, let me ask you to come in. With all due respect, we are what we are today because of our teachers. Our parents are God aside. And sometimes, I will have to say this on camera, some of us are ungrateful to our teachers, more so to our foreign teachers. Sorry to use that word, I don't like using the word foreign. Reason being, were it not for some of these teachers from the sub-region, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, and so on, some of us wouldn't have reached where we have reached. I went to a school called Fatima that was unknown, and maybe not known to many people here. The only Gambian teacher we had at the time was the late Henry Michael Jammeh, agric science. The other teachers were only technical or ancillary staff. The rest were all non-Gambians and mostly from Sierra Leone. So let's be gratitude. Let's be grateful to these people. Mr. Kemokai, thank you very much. I may not know how long he's been in the Gambia, but I know when I met Amadou around 1993-94 at Nusrat, he was already there. So it means he might have been in the Gambia well before 93-94. So for somebody to have lived in the Gambia for over 30 years, you cannot be considered a citizen better than the person. And the person is in the production of knowledge, the human resource. I think we owe them gratitude, and I think I should use this platform. Thank you. So Sally, please rise up. He representing all our non-Gambian teachers here, and we say thank you to him and give him a rousing hand of applause. Thank you very much.
Not only being an administrator or a teacher at Nusrat High School,
he also
invested in the Gambia.
I know, he also owned his own school.
By building a school.
Thank you very much.
Where the wife is serving as the head.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kyo. So I think we have to be saying these things. We are talking about engagement. We are talking about empowerment. We are talking about equipment. Without teachers like him, we might not have had an Marong somewhere. Without teachers like him, you wouldn't have had me here. Apart from agric science, as I said, the only Gambian teacher who taught me agric science was that Henry Michael Jammeh. And the only other Gambian who taught me technical drawing is also Samuel Jassy. So these were the only two teachers. The rest of the subjects were non-Gambian teachers. So let's be grateful. Gambia, let's be grateful to our teachers, and more so to our foreign-based teachers. I have to say this from the bottom of my heart. My teachers, thank you very much. I can't name you, but you know where I'm coming from. Thank you very much. Grateful. That said, we also want to thank all those who have contributed in one way or the other to make 3D GAM what it is. Yes, a lot of people may want to know where is the office located. A lot of people may want to know how do you people operate, how do you engage, and so on and so forth. But before going to that, I want to say this. 3D GAM is not competing any existing organization or institution that is in human rights promotion or other things. We are not. If anything, we are collaborating. There's no competition in development. There's no competition in empowerment. There's no competition in engagement or equipment. Whatever you can do, just do. And we would want to call all that are already maybe doing whatever work to partner with us. This material we have, we are ready to share, including with those institutions that are already existing. And we do it from our own pockets, from our own process. So we just want to let people know that 3D GAM did not come to do something different. We're just here to add value to what is already in the market, especially in terms of human rights, promotion, and development. You can see her here. She's already exercising her human right. Who am I to stop her? She's a child. She's doing what she likes. If you want to stop her, she'll cry. The same thing with all of us. If your human right is infringed upon, you will one way or the other react. And that reaction will impact on somebody. If you want to stop her, she will cry. And all our session here will be affected. So I think we should be thinking about human rights in what you and I do, our day-to-day activities, that which you know you would not like to be stopped from doing, don't stop another person from doing it, provided it is geared towards the development of the other person. So I wouldn't want to actually bore you, because my role is just to thank all of you. We would want to thank the President Award Scheme for availing us this facility. The media, we appreciate you, because we would have been here, discuss or actually present or say everything But who will know about it? It is through you. So we just want to appreciate you and thank you for everything. Allah baraka bake. Jerigen Jeff. Nuwari. Jarama Bui, Emite Kati. The Baramak. Obrigado. Timpa Timpa. God bless you.
Thank you very much. We're really grateful for that. He is always dissenting, so he is what he is. So, and he always speaks the facts. So we appreciate him very much. And we thank everybody that made it possible for the signing of the MOU. And that brings us to the end of the program. We thank each and everyone. And then we will close with prayers. And then we will say bye-bye to one another. But before that, somebody reminded me, as he said, for the ministry to know them, yes. Can I call on the Deputy Homeland Sangu down fast so that they're that is the Deputy Homeland, Mr. Sangu Damfa. Mr. Lamin Fati, Regional Coordinator for URR. He's all the way from the Napoi Kereman. And as I said, I'm also one of his mentors because I taught him in school. Yeah, and he's always proud of Mr. Dabo. Wherever he sees him, it gives me great respect. So keep up with the good job that you're doing. I know you are still teaching. Continue with that and God bless you. Thank you. I call on Adama Chan, Regional Coordinator for Lower River. Adama Chan.
He's already started.
Okay. Well, Bisenji, you still have to join them. The PRO and International Relations Officer.
Oh, thank you.
So he's our PRO and our International Relations Officer. Ibrahima Jame, Deputy Media General. As I said, this gentleman is always with the 3D. He's a very industrious individual. Ibrahima, like all other media houses or media practitioners or photographers in the country, started very young as a cameraman. Ibrahima has been building himself up so that he can also have his own media house like all others. But as nature of the habit, which nobody wished for, he was able to purchase materials up to $200,000 each. And then unfortunately, an incident happened at his house. And all those gadgets that he was preparing himself to open a media house got burnt. The whole house, nothing came out. Everything was burned into ashes. So that's the unfortunate situation about him. But still, he's living strong and more committed than before. That's why I'm saying this. He's still committed to realizing his dream. We thank him for coming. Fatou Sane, Women and Kids Affairs. Because in every association or organization or foundation, you need to have a balance. So in 3D, we also have women among us. Kumba is not here with us, but Fatou is here. Fatou is the one for Women and Kids Affairs. Then we have Fode Bayo, Coordinator South Bank. Fode. So, Mr. Kamara, these are our... West Coast? Yes, Marina. You forgot to put his name. Fati. Suleiman Baji, IT Operations Officer. Heads of Project. Who is that? Vice Suleiman. Suleiman Baji.
Comrade Balkamin, that's head of operations or project, sorry. Mr. Mendes, who? KMT. Sobak Sanja. Come forward. Okay, it's a new member. Zinaldo Mendia. Okay, he's a new member who's just joined 3D. So these are our representatives from KM up to Koina. So, and I know as the Ministry for Youth and Sports, as Vicente said, we don't have an existing office because we operate from our various homes and our workplaces. But 24/7, this group are employed. Whatever happens now, each and every one of us will see the communication. And whatever instruction is given out by the group, decided by the group, everyone have it simultaneously. So these are our wonderful gentlemen and ladies in the service of 3D, part of 3D and 3D Global in the Gambia. So their presence here is very, very important. And as a ministry, your engagement and empowerment and equipment sharing with these gentlemen is very, very vital. Thank you all. Let's clap for them. Okay, lastly, before we depart, I think we'll have a group photo with the ministry. We can do that outside. Otherwise, I thank you all, heads up from the schools, all the teachers that are available here today. We thank you all. Your coming is very, very